What's up, boys? Today we're going to be checking out Defenders of Etheria, a Dungeon Defenders bullet heaven. First up, we've got up to 4 players, so that's pretty nice. You also have a full gear system, however, it doesn't really seem that interesting. I found a legendary helmet and it gives me like maybe 6% armor, like 1%, 2% health, 10 damage, about 11% damage. Doesn't really seem that interesting, and then some of them actually decrease your stats as well. Not the most inspired gear system, I think. None of these buttons over here seem to do anything. If you want to equip something else, you actually have to like drag it over here and then find the slot. When it gets a bit bigger, you can like let it go there. Kind of weird. There's some weird UI issues with the game. If you want to interact with an NPC, you actually have to get in a certain range, hover your cursor over them, and then press F. You can't just like walk up to them and then press the interact key. There is a dash, but it starts off on shift, so you probably want to rebind that over to spacebar. So here's the first arena. None of the basic abilities you start off with are kind of bullet heavy. You have to use those all as active abilities, and you have to manually aim those. I feel like it could have the right click, the Q, and the basic attack could have like a mode where you could toggle them on and they would just auto fire. Since the cooldown on those is low enough, it doesn't really make a huge heal. And then they should probably increase the cooldown of R and make it more impactful so that it feels like basically an ultimate ability. There's really no reason you can't have auto fire on the basic attack, it just spams out at all times anyways. And then these two are fairly low cooldown. I don't think you have any health regen by default, so getting a level in that passive is extremely important. And as we level up, we'll be able to get some auto fire stuff, and oh yeah, even in single player, you have a 10-second timer, which is super annoying. I feel like that just shouldn't be a thing in single player. And then I feel like when there's multiplayer, the host should be able to configure how long that would last. Like maybe 15 or 20 seconds would probably be a decent starting point. But when I'm learning the game, 10 seconds just feels too short to like read the description of all the new abilities. So this is a new bullet heavy ability that will auto fire. So I'm going to try and grab a bunch of those so we can sort of play the game passively a bit more. Let's get the health regen again. That one is super important from what I've seen. So I don't know what any of the passive status effects do. It doesn't seem like there's any way to read about them currently. Oh yeah, there's this weird bug where right as you level up, you actually can't move left or right with your A and D keys anymore for a couple of seconds, and then it fixes itself. I don't know, there's just a lot of confusing stuff to me here. And it doesn't feel like the devs have even played their own game a single time yet, because it's so immediately apparent. Let's get a level in that to have the poison effect. I can't move left or right, man. Why is it like this? I think I'm just going to go ahead and turn damage numbers off as well. Let's get some skill cooldown. And then also, as you're changing stuff in the UI, you have to click that, and then you have to manually click apply each time. If you just press escape to leave there, it won't save the changes, and it also won't give you like any sort of dialogue confirming whether or not you want to change that or anything. Arcane Volley is my Q. I think we'll go ahead and get Spark, whatever that is. Oh yeah, there's going to be 4 classes eventually. Only the Squire and the Apprentice are in the game currently. So your basic fighter and your basic mage characters. but there are slots for the archer character and the monk character. I forget exactly what they're called. It's been quite a while since I've played Dungeon Defenders, although I did play it a lot when it came out. We really aren't finding a lot of new skills here. I do like the arcane volley, I think that's fun. Okay, we still only have that one tornado, it looks like. I guess the thing is that most of the abilities are legendary rarity, so it might actually be kind of hard to find them. That is quite a bit of health to lose. I guess we'll take some of that. Like, I legitimately don't understand how no one noticed that it prevents you from moving in certain directions after leveling up. That's just baffling to me. Thankfully, it's only a few seconds each time, but it can definitely mess with you. So we can get some arcane volley damage. I think the health regen's just too important. I want to max that out whenever possible. I think that's a legendary item we just found. I don't think you can equip stuff in the middle of a run. Let me just check the key bindings real quick. I don't think there's anything to even open an inventory in here. You have to go back to the blacksmith in town, it seems like. Let's get some arcane volley cooldown. The map is also pretty small, I think. Oh, it actually goes up quite a bit further up here. When I went to the bottom, it was pretty small. And I hate small bottoms. But there doesn't really seem to be anything around the map. Let's get the bleeding thing here. Nothing to destroy, nothing to loot as far as I've seen. I think the bar up here is like a wave timer. Oh, what's over there? We can't go up there, no. Also, you get caught on enemies and terrain pretty easily. And you'll have to try and dash out of that, I guess, if you ever get stuck there. Man, there's just really no skills here. Let's get some extra XP to try and get more chances at them. Some cooldown, I guess. So we're 16 levels in, and I have one Bullet Heaven ability. Okay, finally. A random nearby enemy sounds kind of weak. I haven't tried it before, though. I guess we'll do that. I can't move left and right again because I leveled up. We can get some cooldown reduction for one of our passive abilities. Okay, let's get some Ramsters. get some global crit chance. Get a new ability, sure. Yeah, they all seem to be legendary. So that might actually make it harder to find them, I'm not positive. Ooh, poisonous spitball, sure. More region, that's just extremely important here. Let's get a new... Oh, that's a level up, actually. I guess that's fine. I guess it probably just increases the damage, since there's separate things for cooldown as well. But yeah, they could use a bit more information on the level up screen options as well. Like a way to hover over the status effect things and press Alt or something to get more menu or more info on them. Let's go ahead and max out the region. None of these seem that good. I guess some base damage. More XP. I'm assuming that attack speed only applies to the basic attack, since we have both cooldown and attack speed. 10% chance to cause corruption. Don't know what that means, but sure. Let's level up the poison spitball. See how good each of our abilities can be with a bunch of upgrades. Let's go with some more base damage. That actually seems pretty good for a basic upgrade. XP, so we can see even more level ups. More base damage here, I think. God, it's just so strange. You can't move left and right when leveling up. I don't understand how that makes it into even a demo. Let's take the level on the spitball. Fire definitely seems to be damage over time, and then the spark effect seems to be some sort of explosion on them. Don't know the exact mechanics on them. It's probably similar to what's in Dungeon Defenders, but like I said, it's been such a long time, I really don't remember anything from that. More XP, sure. XP, or Fireball, whatever, it's legendary, I guess. They actually completely disappear from your bar right as they fire for a couple of seconds. That's kind of odd. Also, if you actually wanted to keep track of your cooldowns, then the bottom right is one of the worst spots that could possibly be it. That's about as far away from the center of the screen as you can go. Let's go base damage, I think. And I'm about to die even though I have all of that health regen and I've barely even been hit, so you can see how important that is. I don't know what that is. Oh, I've never seen the Kobold King. But I think we are probably dead here anyways. Oh, they're shooting homing missiles at me. What? That's crazy. Let's get a bit of HP here. Okay, that didn't even do anything. Sick HP upgrade, bro. Yeah, I'm just dead. Kinda weird. Let's go check out the gear we got, see if there's anything interesting that I haven't seen yet. So I guess you just select the character there, you can see they're going to add 2 more at least. Squire abilities. Honestly, sounds pretty similar. Probably a bit shorter range, but better AoE maybe? Oh, we probably need to be over here for the gear I got. So a legendary chest gives me -1 health. It gives me about 2% damage. Maybe 15% or so armor. And the movement speed, I don't even have a stat for that. What? Then you have to find the slot it goes to over there. Oh, that's probably a bit better. 11883. Yeah, I think that's slightly better. Yeah, gear feels like a bit of a miss to me. Just a tiny amount of stats, nothing really unique or interesting about it. Man, that just doesn't seem legendary for a legendary item. And then some of them is also just randomly decreasing your stats for no real payoff. There is a tiny little passive tree that I can't seem to open right now. Yeah, I was able to open it by pressing I earlier and spend some stat points on that, but it just doesn't even function anymore. And there's nothing about that in the control panel. But it is there. I did spend 60 points in it earlier, but I don't know if it's functional and I can't open it anymore. There's nothing about it over here. I don't know, it just feels like less polished than a pre-alpha for a game I've played, to be honest. But the potential's there. It has co-op, it has a gear system. They just aren't really that interesting currently. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.